My friends, welcome back to the MD Medic podcast. So today, I'm coming to speak to you guys about some things that are going on in my life. So as you guys know, martial arts has always been a big part of my life, and it's something that I always advocate that men should do. And with that being said, I figured I should tell you guys that I am taking another MMA fight. Yes, I will be competing in yet another MMA fight. I'm really excited. But, it's been quite a while since I've competed. In the whole process of, over the past few years of me working to train to become a physician and moving and working as much as I am and investing, and then COVID came along, it's been a while since I've taken my last fight. I've had so many things to do. I've been training pretty consistently. I've been sparring in the gym. I've always stayed active. I've always made sure I stay a dangerous man. I've always put in the work in the gym, make sure that I'm moving around, still sharpening my skills. But it's been since the beginning of COVID that I've actually taken a fight. And right now, quite frankly, my life is busier than it's ever been before. I have so many things going on. I probably invest about 100 to 120 hours a week to all of my different endeavors, including the podcast, including my jobs, including all the different things that I'm involved in. But yet, despite that, I decided once again to take another competitive MMA fight. And a lot of people might think that sounds crazy, and I understand where they're coming from. Where can I find time to put in the dedication to train for a fight, to do a fight camp, to cut weight, to do all of the things involved in preparing yourself for a fight and then traveling to the fight location, making weight, making weigh-ins, fighting, competing, and then recovering possibly from the injury sustained in the fight? Where would I find time to do that? And why would I choose to do that in my busy life right now? And that's what I want to talk to you guys about. The reasons why I decided to fight again, and the reasons why I think fighting in martial arts is an important part in the journey of becoming and being a man. I continue to train in martial arts regularly, and despite everything going on in my life, I took this fight because I wanted to keep the fire in my blood that fighting gives me. I wanted to keep the competitive edge in life, the ethos of martial arts, the ethos of the warrior spirit. All of the things that martial arts and competitive fighting gives me, I needed to keep that in my life so that I could stay at the top, so I could stay at the apex of everything that I am doing. You see, fighting, competitive drive, warfare, martial arts, all of these things, they bring you closer to the primary masculine drive that men have had since the beginning of time. Since the beginning of recorded history, men have always sought for conquest. Men have always literally taken rocks, melted them down into iron swords, and walked in random directions to find people to conquer, to find challenges to overcome, to find ways to spread their territory and expand their wealth, and to build a name of glory for themselves. Despite the risk of life and limb, men have always been driven to conquer, to fight, to assert their will and assert their dominance on the world and on the surroundings around them. It has just been in their human nature. Men have always instinctively found their value in the things that they have achieved and the things that they have conquered, in making a name for themselves. Every statue from antiquity, every painting in a cave or on a temple from the ancient times, all of them celebrate the strong man with the sword that was able to go and conquer and assert his will upon his surroundings. This is just part of our nature as a man. And even today, even though we don't go and fight people with swords in the street anymore, it is still a drive that drives us forward. For example, the equivalent to warfare and conquest and conquering and fighting territories, the equivalent for that today are things like status. We can't prove our glory. We can't prove our name. We can't prove our honor. We can't prove our worth by going and fighting people and challenging them in combat with swords and spears and shields. But every time you see a man pulling up in a fast car, wearing a nice watch, wearing nice clothes, every time you see a man taking pride in how he looks and how he presents himself, every time you see a man out there determined to make money, to make a name in society, to become famous, to become a fantastic athlete, to be known, that goes back to his primitive instinctual drive for conquest, because it is in our nature to achieve. It is in our nature that men's value is based on what we do. It is based on what we achieve. It is based on what we create. Women are born with their value, and no matter what they do or don't do, they're always going to be desired. They're always going to be wanted in society. But as a man, we have to hold on to our competitive urges. We have to hold on to our warfare spirit. And if we even look at sports today, every single sport is essentially simulated warfare. You have two teams pitted against each other in competition, winner takes all. That is essentially the essence of warfare. And as I alluded to earlier, this fire in our blood and this need for conquest has created every empire in history, has led to every invention, every bit of progress in modern civilization. This need to move forward, this need to achieve. And it is also our primary mating strategy. You see, the characteristics of a warrior, of a conqueror, are quite frankly the things that women are attracted to. If you ask a woman what she wants in a man, she will say that I want a man that's taller than me, that's stronger than me, that makes more money than me, that can protect me, that is physically imposing, that is in fantastic physical shape and is able to fight off any enemies, fight off any people that would want to hurt me, a man that can be a leader, a man that can be dominant. She's describing that ancient conqueror that men have been throughout human history. Embracing your primitive instinctual warrior spirit is what's going to make you better in life across the board. But unfortunately in today's society, this spirit is dying out. And the society that we live in wants to make men way too tame, way too civilized, wants to take out the teeth of the lion, wants to take the fire out of our blood. And so I think training martial arts and competing in martial arts is a great way to keep this fire, to keep this warrior spirit, to keep this urge for conquest, this urge for achievement, this urge for competition, this urge for dominating your surroundings, to keep that same competitive fire that has built the entire world around us. That's how you keep that alive. That's how I think I can keep my edge in this world. You see, warfare is not just about violence. The art of war, martial arts, if you break down the words themselves, martial means relating to warfare. Art is a practice or an aesthetic that is meant to be appreciated. So, we have the ways of warfare that are meant to be appreciated and honored and passed down as traditions. These are martial arts. Martial arts and warfare are not just about violence. They train self-discipline, determination, and self-motivation. You see, to become a successful MMA fighter or kickboxer or boxer or wrestler, it takes hours and hours and hours and days and days and days of dedication and pushing your body to its limit, past the point of pain, past the point of fatigue, and you learn to delay gratification. You learn to push through adversity to conquer a goal, and you become better and stronger. And you will also notice that martial artists are some of the most humble people that there are. I've noticed that the most arrogant, the most hubristic people out there, people that have never truly met someone who has proved them to be an inferior, who has put them in their place, who has dominated them. And one thing in the journey of martial arts, no matter where you are in the journey, there's always someone that's better than you. There's always someone that you spar with that can teach you something new. There's always someone that gets the edge over you, that motivates you to learn more, and that also makes you a more humble person. It builds character, it builds discipline, it builds the ability to push past pain. It builds the ability to dedicate yourself to something until you see results. Imagine this. You're going to take a fight, you're getting told 8 weeks in advance, so you train every single day for 3 hours a day, pushing yourself to the physical limit, increasing your cardio, studying the film of your opponent, fine-tuning your game to an almost scientific perfection level, and then cutting weight before a fight, denying your animalistic urges to eat and to indulge in food pleasures and junk food, all the things like that, and forcing yourself, forcing your body, forcing everything about you, your entire being, to submit to your willpower. That builds the men who change the world. And I have people all around me in life saying that I need to take my time, that I'm crazy, that I'm biting off more than I can chew, that I'm doing too much, that I'm going to burn out soon. They don't understand how I'm able to do all the things that I'm doing. And they don't understand why I do all the things that I'm doing. But here's why I do it. Here's what gives me the confidence to move forward. The air of assurance that allows me to take on everything that I face in life, everything that I'm doing in life at one time, with utter confidence. This is what does that for me. This is what gives me that confidence, that level of assurance. I've been in fights. I've stood across the cage, across the ring, across the mat, from someone whose sole purpose is to destroy me, to cause me bodily harm. I have stood across the cage from someone who has put in as much time, energy, and dedication to conquer me, to destroy me, as I have put in to do the same to them. I've gone through fight camps, I've gone through training, I've cut weight, and I've literally stood toe to toe against someone who wants to destroy me. And yet somehow I found a way to survive, to overcome, to win, to succeed. And even in the times where I have not won, I was still able to stand toe to toe with someone who literally wanted to take my life. I was able to put myself through hell on earth in order to achieve a goal. And if I can do all of those things, what that teaches me is this. If I can stand across a cage from someone who wants to kill me, if I can put my body to its absolute limits every single day in preparation for combat, if I can do all of these things, then nothing else is that hard. What's staying up late to work on extra projects? What's studying? What's working extra hours? What's putting forth more time and effort? What is that in comparison to actual combat? In comparison to standing across the cage from someone who can actually take your life? What are all of these other things in perspective? And that is how I'm able to do the things that no one else is able to do. Because when you can pull yourself to stand across the ring or cage from someone who wants to destroy you, everything else in life becomes easy. What can you not do? If you can stand in line, sword and shield in your hand, beside your brothers, and face probable death head on and overcome, what is anything else in life that we will face? You see, growing up, having done Japanese martial arts and having devoted 2 decades of my life to studying Japanese martial arts like karate, like aikido, like judo, like Japanese jiu-jitsu, kendo, iai-jutsu, all of these arts that conglomerately come together into the practice of Budo, which is the overall fighting styles of the samurai. All of my time in doing Japanese martial arts, traditional Japanese martial arts, has taught me the concept of Bushido. Now, what Bushido is this, in case you haven't heard of it. Just like the knights in medieval Europe had the code of chivalry that guided their lifestyles both on and off the battlefields, the Japanese knights, the samurai, the fighting noble class whose sole occupation was war for over 1,000 years, they had their own code of ethics. They had their own code of philosophy that guided how they were to live day-to-day life and how they were to see life in battle and in every day. And this was called Bushido, which literally translates to the way of the warrior. I have the Bushido kanji tattooed on me right here because it means that much to me. And what Bushido consists of is the placement of honor and determination and the will to succeed above all things. You see, a samurai could not accept defeat. He would much rather die in battle than come back defeated. And in many cases, a samurai who was defeated in battle, and even more so, if a samurai who is assigned to protect a lord, a shogun, a daimyo, if that samurai was unsuccessful in protecting that lord and that lord were captured or killed in battle, the samurai would take his own life in a procedure called seppuku or harikari because he cannot live with the shame of defeat. The samurai had the mindset that nothing could get in the way of honor, that nothing could get in the way of overcoming. The concept that no matter how much effort, no matter how much difficulty needed to be overcome, the samurai would do it because honor and determination and the will to succeed are above all things. The indomitable spirit, the spirit that cannot be broken, the spirit that cannot be beaten. You know, the samurai had this saying in the Book of Five Rings, which kind of lines out the philosophies of Bushido. They had this saying that if you go into battle only determined to live and to survive and to just get out of battle alive, then you will surely die. But if you go into battle disregarding your own life, not caring about death and not fearing it, and solely focused on your purpose, then you will surely live, because that determination is what sets you apart above all people. Bushido, the way of the warrior, something that I've incorporated into my life and that I think that you guys should incorporate into yours. As a matter of fact, every time I go into a fight camp before a fight, when I'm training, and even in the very moment where I'm walking up to the cage, I wear this headband that you see on my head right now. This is called a hachimaki. And what a hachimaki historically was a headband that the samurai warriors would wear underneath their helmet. And it would have their family crest or the crest of their nation, which in this case is the rising sun, which is a symbol of Japanese culture, Japanese heritage, Japanese philosophy. And on the sides of the hachimaki, which you guys can't see because it's kind of folded under, there would be inscriptions in kanji, Japanese kanji, that would say phrases that encourage the Bushido spirit. Phrases like kamikaze, which means the divine wind. Or in other words, the divine spirit, the divine power that drives you forward to achieve your goals, that protects you and looks after you. I interpret this as the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of God. Or indomitable spirit, that would be inscribed onto the hachimaki on the outside. Things that would be almost taunts to the enemy, to say, I am ready, I have an indomitable spirit, I will not give up, and I am protected by a divine power as I go into battle because I am completely determined. But not only that, the hachimaki on the inside, on the other side of the headband, had a prayer and a blessing inscribed on it. And it was essentially a blessing to the warrior that was able to take the head of that samurai. The warrior that was able to take off the head in battle of the samurai wearing the hachimaki, there is a prayer, a blessing to bless him. For him being able to defeat a savage like him. For him being able to defeat a mighty, honorable warrior like him. Because the warrior culture is all about honor. It is all about self-determination. It is all about being the best. And it is also about respecting the admirable qualities of others. As I said, martial arts is not just about fighting. Martial arts is a lifestyle. Martial arts teaches life lessons that few other things can, and I think that every man on his journey to becoming a G needs to partake in martial arts. So that is why I'm taking this fight. Despite everything going on, despite all the other influences in my life that will tell me otherwise, that sheer willpower and mind towards victory, or Bushido if you will, is something that more men need, and it has led to the successes in life that I have had that other people think is crazy. People ask me, why are you so successful? How are you able to do all the things you're able to do? It's because of this mind, the indomitable spirit, the spirit of Bushido, the spirit of the samurai that is tattooed on my chest, the spirit that I keep close to me, and the spirit that I want to keep alive and never let die out. The spirit and the fire that I stoke with engaging in combat, with practicing martial arts, with keeping my combative edges sharp. And that is why I fight. That is why I do martial arts. That is why I practice Bushido. Just like all of the content that I post on this channel, I hope I inspired you to be a better man, to be the best that you can be, to be the richest, strongest, most successful man that you can possibly be, and to be that you must become a modern day warrior, a modern day samurai. You must embrace the way of the warrior. Now, I will post the highlights of this fight on my channel, but guys, keep me in your prayers, keep me in your thoughts as I go to combat. But regardless of whether I win or whether I lose, I am keeping my competitive fire sharp. Because that is the warrior spirit. That is what has made me into the man that I am today. MD Medic Podcast, we out.